And I had a wonderful weekend. Celebrated my 31st. Also some great news that we're going to talk about later on in the show. But everything's going well.
Yeah, well, first of all, happy belated birthday.
Thank you, fellas.
Listen, it's great to see another black man make it past 30.
Phew, tell me about it.
Yeah, man, how the knees feeling, man?
Yo, for real. So I hooped yesterday, right? And I gave it my all for about 3 games, right? But today, when I tell you I'm gingerly and hurting, I promise you I am hurting. Like bad. Like I need to throw Bengay on the knees. I need to soak it. Yeah, BioFreeze. I got to soak in some Epsom salt. and my homie's talking about trying to play ball tomorrow. I'm like, whoa, we got to see because I don't know. These knees is really hurting.
Oh man, sorry to hear about that, man. They always say like once you turn 30, the knees are the first.
But you know what? Kobe will be proud of my performance because I was getting buckets yesterday.
Yeah, man. And you know what else will Kobe be proud of yesterday? The Lakers' performance yesterday.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Blowout fashion. Them Black Mamba jerseys. I'm telling you, them Jones.
Sexy.
Yeah, man. They probably sold out yesterday.
Big facts. Fast.
Yeah. So, but we're going to hold off the pleasantries of basketball because we've dominated way too much with basketball, and rightfully so.
Yeah, it's the hottest thing going on right now.
Yeah.
Can't even deny it.
Yeah, so we're going to dive right into the NFL. So,
let's do it.
We had to put it off for a few weeks, but we're right back at it. We're going to be talking about the NFC
South,
AFC South.
What we starting with, NFC or AFC? Which I want to do.
We'll do the. We're going to start with the AFC South. I'm not a big fan of that division so far, so. Oh yeah, we're officially live. Oh, sorry, I had the mics on. But hey, we're live. We're here, guys. But we're gonna start off with some AFC South talk. A division which hosted 2 playoff teams last year: the Houston Texans and Tennessee Titans. And the Tennessee Titans had a miracle run last year. By the exploit of Derrick Henry in the running game. Houston always had Deshaun Watson, but they did blow a 24-0 lead in the postseason last year to the eventual Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. They have the Indianapolis Colts, with now with Phillip Rivers as quarterback. Him and Frank Wright are finally reuniting as they did with the Chargers. And then last but certainly not least, last and least.
Definitely it is the least.
The Jacksonville Jaguars and the reclamation project of Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
Minshew Mania.
He got a nice stash, though. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
That's
about it.
He built like a punter.
Yeah.
But other than that. So, what's your predictions on it this season?
It's going to be a really ugly division.
You think so?
Yeah. I think Tennessee is going to have a regression year. The tape's now out on Ryan Tannehill and what that offense does now. So they're going to be stacking 8 in the box. I mean, granted, it didn't stop Derrick Henry last year in the playoffs, but we're talking about a 16-game season in which
hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully. If baseball's any consolation for what we've seen so far, considering that they're playing every single day and the NFL's playing only 1 game a week. Hopefully that means we'll have a good season. So I think Tennessee's going to have a regression. I don't think their defense is going to be as good. They traded Jurrell Casey to Denver. I just don't think that Derrick Henry's going to last the season. He's Mr. December, but those first 3 months, you rarely hear anything from him. Take it from somebody who had him in fantasy. He doesn't show up until December.
Yeah. And December's a long time away for him not to show up. Like, as you mentioned, they're definitely going to stack inside the box because that's their primary offensive weapon. I mean, Ryan Tannehill, we know he's truly a game manager. He's not going to be the type of quarterback who's going to come down and throw you 3 touchdowns a game and potentially win you a game and bring you back in the fourth quarter. That's not his style of play, and that's not necessarily what they brought him in for. But don't get me wrong, he will throw you some here and there, but they're really surrounded by Derrick Henry and his running game.
Yeah, and even when Ryan Tannehill came in, the team did respond to him. They did win 9-2 in their last 11 games. They did make it all the way to the conference title game.
Yeah.
Having a miracle run. They beat the New England Patriots in the playoffs. They beat the number 1 seed of Baltimore at M&T Bank Stadium last year.
Yeah.
But A.J. Brown's coming into his second year. Corey Davis is still a really young project. They're getting Delaney Walker back. But I just got a bad feeling about the Titans. Every single year you see a team that goes deep in the playoffs, and then after that they struggle like the following season. It's always that hangover.
Yeah, of course. They might still be riding that success that they had before But I mean, hey, at least they did sign Derrick Henry because I was nervous. I didn't think that they would. I mean, you can't let a running back talent like that get away. So I mean, at least they did do that, give him the money that he deserves, and they also signed Tannehill as well. So they have definitely shored up their future with those two guys.
Yeah. And here's my thing about this division, and I want to lay this on you too as well. I think this division is mostly going to come down to coaching. Okay. So out of the coaches in that division, which one do you think is the top tier?
I would, to be honest,
Frank Reich, Vrabel.
I do like Mike Vrabel for real, for what he has, and then able to just outwit Belichick last year. I did kind of like that.
Right.
Me personally, I would. It's a toss up between Frank Reich and Mike Vrabel because I'm gonna just go to the Eagles for a second. Just watching how stale their offense was this year, and then seeing what the Colts were able to do with Jacoby Brissett. I'm like, man, see, that's why we need Frank Reich back now. Not only does he have Jacoby Brissett still, he now has Phillip Rivers, who has been lighting it up his entire career with I was about to say San Diego Chargers, with the LA Chargers his entire career. So you put Phillip Rivers with a solid coach and a solid offense that already excelled with Jacoby Brissett.
Right.
You can only imagine the type of success Indianapolis might have with Phillip Rivers and Frank Reich.
I think out of all the coaches in the AFC South, I think I like Vrabel the most, followed by Frank Reich.
Yeah.
And
the question is, do you like Bill O'Brien third?
Yes, I like Bill O'Brien.
That's the question.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien third. But the funny thing is that the Houston has won the division, I believe, the most out of everybody, like in the last 5 to 6 years. But they're the only team in the AFC South that hasn't sniffed a conference title game out of all of them. The Titans did it last year.
Yeah.
The Colts did it a few years ago with Andrew Luck, and the Jaguars were just right in the mix of it a few years ago with Blake Bortles.
Yeah.
So I think the writing's on the wall. I think I'm making way too much out of it, but I think Deshaun Watson is looking for a way out.
You think so?
Yeah, after trading DeAndre Hopkins for essentially nothing.
Most definitely.
You got David Johnson back, but you're also talking about David Johnson, who's also injury prone and lost his job to Kenyon Drake last year.
Yeah.
And
he makes a ton of money.
Yeah, and then you traded for Brandon Cooks, who's had serious concussion issues. Randall Cobb's also been hurt as well. Will Fuller's hamstrings gives out every other 6 games,
which is a problem in fantasy. Which is
of course.
Listen, just stop drafting him every year, man.
Yeah, he puts up points until he gets injured. Oh man.
Yeah, but it's going to come down to like you said, it's going to come down to coaching. But Bill O'Brien's not just the coach; he's also the guy who's
like the GM.
Yeah, he's the GM. He's also in charge of the personnel decisions there. If I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm like, listen, you didn't want to deal with Dwayne Brown, you didn't want to deal with Jadeveon Clowney, and you traded away my #1 target for what?
And arguably the best wide receiver in the league for a bag of Cheetos.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, why should I be all in and trust you if you're not? And
I still don't have an offensive line.
Right. Still can't protect the kid.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be bad for Houston this year. I think I have them going third in the division. I have them winning no more than 7 games.
Wow.
And the only reason why I have them winning at least 7 games is because Deshaun Watson.
He can will him to a couple of games.
Yeah, with
his talent alone.
Yeah, he's a godsend for Houston. They haven't had that much. He's easily the best quarterback that they've ever had. From Derek Carr, from Brock Osweiler, he's easily the best quarterback there. And as we've seen, Houston has done a terrible job, not just developing quarterbacks, but also not protecting quarterbacks as well.
Yeah.
So, if anything, I have the Colts winning this division. Phillip Rivers, Frank Reich. Frank Reich's a quarterback whisperer. He worked with Phillip Rivers before, so that familiarity's there. Marlon Mack is going to be back fully healthy, as well as T.Y. Hilton. They still have a solid offensive line. And I like the trade that they made to get DeForest Buckner from San Fran to shore up their defensive line because they weren't able to get at the quarterback at all last year. So I think DeForest Buckner is going to be opening things up for that front 7.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I was thinking the Colts as well, especially with the acquisition of Phillip Rivers. I think that having a big-time quarterback like that in your division is major. And in him, he has something to prove because he actually – oh, darn, I was going to say he would actually have fans in the stands, but I guess this would be no different. Wow. I was going to say
virtual fans again.
Right. I was thinking he could get some passionate fans behind him, but that's not going to happen. But no, Phillip Rivers, I feel like if you look at his numbers, he's easily a Hall of Famer. He has great numbers, but he just doesn't have those playoff wins, the Super Bowl under his belt, not enough Pro Bowlers. I mean, he doesn't have enough of that stuff under his belt, but I think pairing him with Frank Reich is going to make the difference for him. Yeah. And I think they have an opportunity to definitely go ahead and win the division. I'm going to say that the Texans, though, they'll be right behind them, though, because I still got a little bit of faith in Deshaun Watson. I'm not 100% sold on the Titans yet. Like I said, I do like Frank Vrabel and everything and what they do, but I just still feel like they don't have enough. Because, I mean, all they really have is Derrick Henry, in my opinion.
Okay. I'm the reason I asked questions about coaching is because I'm leaning towards coaching. I think when the Eagles lost out on Frank Reich, they were losing something bigger than what we thought. Indianapolis picked him up, and therefore I haven't won a division, again, with the acquisition of Phillip Rivers. I worry about Rivers' age and how much he can contribute, but you see in this day and age that even older quarterbacks can still contribute greatly.
Yeah, it seems like that doesn't really matter anymore.
So it seems like that's less of a concern at this point. So I'm going with the talent of Indianapolis Colts.
I mean, unless you're a black quarterback, sorry.
No, I speak truth. I speak truth. Lamar.
The biggest thing about Phillip Rivers is the question I have for Frank Reich is like, can you turn down on Phillip Rivers' turnovers because he did have 20 turnovers last year in terms of interceptions?
I mean, that's what you get from a gunslinger. That's what he does.
I think so. Like Frank Reich, he's a brilliant football mind with that offense. I think as long as he tells Phillip Rivers like, hey, checkdowns are optimal, I think he'll be fine. Hopefully, but that'll be the difference in the division. If Phillip Rivers doesn't turn the ball over like that, they easily win, in my opinion. If he does turn the ball over like that, then you turn it over to the Titans or the Texans.
Here's the thing about last year. Fun fact: the Colts were 28th in passing yards last year with Jacoby Brissett, and then Jacoby Brissett got hurt. Their backup is slipping out of my mind, but hopefully there's nowhere to go up, especially after what you saw last year with the 28th ranked passing attack last year.
I agree.
So moving on from the AFC South, we're going to be moving to the NFC South.
I was going to say, wait, nobody going to say nothing about the Jags?
No.
Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence. Anyway, that's my contribution to the Jaguars. So we're going to move into.
You talk about them trading someone to the Eagles.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway, we're going to be moving on to a more competitive division.
Yes.
The AFC South, led by the current reigning, defending, unofficial, uncrowned 5-time Super Bowl champion New Orleans Saints, according to Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas. The New England Buccaneers with Tom Brady and Robert Gronkowski.
Yes, you got that correct.
The Atlanta Falcons and the
Panthers.
They're the Panthers.
Panthers,
So, how Mike started off? So, how do you think this division is going to go down?
Saints. I have nothing else to say. Best quarterback in the division, best wide receiver in the division. Second best running back in the division. Shout out Christian McCaffrey. Okay, you are the best running back in the league, in my opinion. But Alvin Kamara is right up there. They have a great offense. They have a solid defense, talent on both sides of the ball. They have great coaching in Sean Payton. I would say the Saints take this division. I don't care how close it is with the teams behind them, but I'm pretty sure that the Saints got this division wrapped up already.
I think
hold that thought.
Go ahead.
I'm scared of the fact though that the Saints will not have fans.
That
is a huge concern because that dome was special for them. Fans.
Yeah, I remember a few years ago when the Eagles took on the Saints in the playoffs, and then after that, Chance Warmack came into my job, and he was describing what was it like to play in the Superdome. He was like, "It's so loud that even when you're in the huddle, you can't even hear each other."
Wow.
It's like ringing. It's like a ringing noise. It's like it feels like an earthquake, like on the field.
Jeez.
So it's like you have to do like a bunch of silent counts because you aren't able to hear anybody like even next to you.
That's insane. But I mean, I've been to the Superdome only one time for WrestleMania, so I'm sure it was like a different experience. I mean, it's pretty loud in there, but yeah, I can only imagine what it's like on the field. But to be honest, I think that the NFC South, it's gonna be a race between three teams, and that's the Saints, Falcons, and Bucks. I mean, we know what the Saints are going to give you because they won the division 3 years in a row. So not no need to spend too much time on them. But surprisingly, I do kind of like the Falcons because they picked up Todd Gurley, and I'm one for a true underdog comeback story. Mm-hmm. I mean, Todd Gurley, we know how much the Rams paid him, gave him all that money, and unfortunately it didn't work out. I feel like one thing that the Falcons have been missing is a solid running game since the days of Work Done.
They had Tevin Coleman.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But I mean, a solid running game, like what a healthy Todd Gurley can give you. Then you balance that out with Julio Jones, and I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Matt Ryan, but he can definitely light it up. It's just Atlanta, man, their struggles in the red zone just continue year after year. I feel like with the balance, having Todd Gurley, that'll open up some space for Julio Jones, and I like them. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but I do like them. And then also, I do like the Bucs. I mean, the Bucs, Tom Brady, their organization just completely went from losers to winners overnight just by adding that championship pedigree with Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. Like, they have so many weapons on offense. Of course, their defense is going to be an issue, but I mean, if you're putting up points, does defense really matter?
They do have weapons. I'm just going with the fact that I think Tom Brady's almost done practically, and we brought Rob Gronkowski back off of retirement, essentially off of joining WWE essentially as well, and he's going to contribute to football, and they're going to become a top tier team. I foresee that to believe that.
Yeah, so I just think it's going to be a 3-team race between those guys.
No Panthers, no Christian McCaffrey.
No disrespect to the Panthers, but I don't think with them losing Cam, I don't know if they have the firepower, because if all of these teams they have very dynamic offenses, and the Panthers are just Christian McCaffrey. I could see
their coach came from Temple, and he brought Temple back to life essentially. So
I get that, but that's with a college organization where you select your own players. He's inherited a lot of he's inherited a lot of players, so he might have a lot of guys who can't necessarily fit his system and fit the type of offense and defense he likes to run.
And you're listening to Uptown Radio, WJYA 98.5. Mark, give that calling number to anyone join the discussion.
Yes, sir. 215-763-9596. Join the discussion. Call in. We got the lines wide open. We are talking NFC South, AFC South. We're going with our predictions so far. It looks like we were unanimous. We're picking the Titans and the Colts in the AFC South. Now we're just working on the NFC South. So Chris, go ahead. Your turn. Talk about it.
I'm not sold on Tampa Bay.
Really?
That's fine.
You've been saying that for a while.
Yeah, well, it's no surprise. I'm more of a see it to believe it guy. I've seen what Tom Brady did last year, especially against winning teams. Granted, the Patriots offense wasn't nothing to write home about, but we hear so much about, Tom Brady, makes everybody around him better. So I'm not trying to hear all that. But we all know that if Tom Brady struggles, he has built-in excuses already made. He's too old. It doesn't matter. He got 6 rings. He's still to go. All that stuff.
Let me ask you this question, because those same excuses were built in when LeBron chose the Lakers. What if Tom Brady pulls a LeBron? Like LeBron James is playing like LeBron James right now.
But was it built in? Because once you go to the Lakers, there's already an expectation that you have to bring a championship to them.
Yes, we get the expectations, but we're also talking about a man going into year 17. I don't think it's any difference.
But you also seen no decline from LeBron. You have seen a decline from Tom Brady.
Fair. I mean, fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I mean, I've seen almost no dip in LeBron's production. I mean, he's on for what 26 to 27 points. The guy led these league in assists this year.
And he's playing less minutes.
Yeah, obviously, we've seen these last 3 games. It's even when they game 2, he still is probably a high IQ passer. He's still a bully down the lane, and when he needs to be a 3-point shooter, he can knock it down. Meanwhile, Tom Brady, I've seen him struggle to get the deep ball going, but I'm just not sold on Tampa. I'm just not sold on Tampa Bay. I think I do like Chris Godwin. I do like Mike Evans. When he's on the field, they do have weapons, but
sold on their weapons, but that's it.
Yeah, Bruce Arians to me is a really good offensive minded coach, but also another factor that we have to contribute. I'm not sold on their running back crew either. They have a bunch of has-beens and never was. LaShawn McCoy, I'm sorry, LaShawn McCoy's over the hill. Ronald Jones is not that good.
Right.
Peyton Barber's not that good.
No, they are not.
Yeah, and whatever rookie running backs are bringing in, I'm not sold on them either.
Yeah.
So
you do need a solid running game to at least get that passing game open.
Meanwhile, I'm going to go with the Saints for obvious reasons. You still got Drew Brees, Taysom Hill, Alvin Kamara, and the fact that now they got a number 2 wide receiver to take the pressure off Michael Thomas, and they still got a really good defense led by Cam Jordan. So
I'm gonna go a different direction. I'm going to Falcons. I think this might be the Falcons' year.
And the fun thing is, I got the Falcons actually finish second in that division.
Yeah, I think it might be their year. I think they might finally get like their red zone issues taken care of.
Yeah, and Calvin Ridley's going to be the breakout wide receiver in this year's fantasy.
Wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, and I'm giving you guys fantasy numbers. So we do have a draft on Sunday.
Oh, that's this.
Yeah, that's the Sunday. Yeah, I still have to do my.
Remind me. I'll be out of town, but remind me. But auto draft always get the best team.
No, someone tried that last year. They picked up all the injured players. So go ahead and do that.
No, I'll make it.
But yeah, so we're going to be moving on to another topic. And during this past weekend, Earl Thomas, multiple-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro safety, was released by the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens took a $22 million cap hit. And the reason behind, them letting him go is because he got into a fight with a teammate, which ended up him punching a teammate. Reports said that there was a vote that got taken in the locker room, and 80% of the team wanted Earl Thomas gone.
Ooh, that's major.
And now there's reports about Dallas not even being interested in signing him, even though that was the projected destination of which Earl Thomas is going to go to, prior to his release.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but Earl Thomas, we know the type of production he has in the NFL, and then you know how the game goes. It doesn't when you produce in the NFL, you're going to get another opportunity. So I think he definitely will get another opportunity. Where he may land, I'm not sure yet, but I got a team I just thought of right off the top of my head. I wouldn't be surprised if even the Seattle went after him. Even though they just got who they just get again? What's the dude's name?
Jamal Adams?
Yeah, even though they just got Jamal Adams, I wouldn't be surprised if they still want to recreate those Legion of Boom days, seeing what they can do by going after Earl Thomas. But then my last random pick would be the Jets. I feel like they just sign anybody and pay all that bread. I mean, so that's who I would.
Attitude is huge. You can't get along with people in the locker room.
That 80% was big.
That 80% was a big number.
Because here's the thing, he burned the bridge in Seattle. I mean, granted, it was, to me, it was 50-50 blame there. He wanted a new contract. Seattle didn't.
You're right.
Seattle didn't want to pay him, but we all saw the image when he got carted off the field.
Yeah, it's the middle finger. I
completely. And then when he went to Baltimore, here's the thing though, Baltimore has Super Bowl aspirations this year. And they're a Class A organization led by John Harbaugh. The culture that's set in formally by Ozzie Newsome, the GM. It takes a lot that you're letting go a guy in the caliber of Earl Thomas, the name and the production, and before the season started. So that's a very telling tale that a contender like that is going to let you go and take a $22 million cap hit to get rid of you.
Yeah, that's crazy. How would you guys feel if Philadelphia swooped in and tried to get him?
It's not going to happen. I'm never going to think about it. Not with this management.
Yeah,
we would not allow that.
No,
no. No chance.
You never know. I mean,
no chance.
I feel like we got a strong enough organization.
They already had a discussion with Deshaun Jackson on his words about the Jews and everything. They don't take anything like that in this locker room at all. They're a very spiritual Christian organization as well. There's no way they're going to accept someone with that attitude.
Yeah, and even if you do sign him, you just. And that's actually a good point. The Pats are just waiting for the right price to go down, kind of like Cam Newton.
True.
Yes, the Pats could do it. Yes.
Pats gonna get him for $9.99 with 20% off.
Yeah, him and Cam Newton got to share that contract.
Facts. They got to share bunk beds at this point. Seriously.
So.
That's definitely interesting. It definitely slipped my mind that he used to play for Seattle. I think that's why. I was like, oh, Seattle would fit for him, and then I'm like, oh yeah, you dropped that bird on him. Yeah.
Anyway, I think that'll do it for our NFL topics. So we're gonna dive right into the NBA bubble. A lot of playoff basketball is going on even right now. So gentlemen, how you want to start this off?
I think we should start with you. We should start.
Are you sure you don't want to end with that?
Nah, man. This is what we've been waiting for a very, very long. Chris, drop it. Start it. We've been waiting 7 long years.
This might go on until the end of the show. This might.
We're not waiting. We're getting this out the way now.
Okay, I need you to do the official report of what happened.
Oh, you know, I tweeted it too.
Okay, go ahead, man.
Excuse me. After 7 seasons, the Philadelphia 76ers fire head coach Brett Brown. It is about time. It's been a long time coming. I know I sound happy over someone losing their job. I should not be happy.
Sorry for this music game.
But this has been a long time coming. And Chris, I'm going to let you do it. Go ahead.
By the way, this is called the Brett Brown eulogy. That's why you hear all that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here on this Tuesday of August 25th, 2020.
Don't forget to bow your heads.
7 years ago, we were in Brett. After firing Doug Collins, we had no coach. We were in a new era of Michael Carter-Williams and Nerlens Noel. We had nobody who wanted to take that responsibility, except for one man. And that man was assistant coach for the San Antonio Spurs, head of player development, the man named Brett Brown.
Player development.
And for the first few years, we completely sympathize with Brett Brown and what he had to go through. A who's who of talent, letting go. The types of Isaiah Cannon, KJ McDaniels,
Tony Rogan,
Carl Sampson,
Jeremy Grant,
Hollis Thompson,
Brandon Davies, Vander Blue,
Henry Sims,
the legend that is Danny Granger,
Andre
Karolinko.
How do we know these names?
We went to an average.
Alexi Shedd.
Do you know how many games that we went through throughout that process years and how the average ticket prices were about less than $10?
$5.
And when we wanted 100 level section seats, they were 20.
Oh, man.
God.
But we thank Brett Brown for those years.
Oh, yeah.
However, the last 3 years, when you had teams that wanted to compete, go the distance for the playoffs, we saw the flaws. We saw the inability to adjust to a 2-3 zone way too much. And by the time you figured it out, it's 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
If you figured it out.
We saw the fact that you had to start T.J. McConnell in a playoff game against the Boston Celtics because your star point guard doesn't want to shoot.
Started T.J. McConnell?
Not T.J.
We saw the fact that Jimmy Butler wanted absolutely nothing to do with us after 55 games with us because you were still here.
He said that.
We saw the fact that you also co-signed a deal to trade Mikal Bridges, a hometown kid, for Zaire Smith. A kid with a sesame seed allergy.
Oh, man. Yo, man. Don't go against the allergy, man.
Listen, we see you completely change your offense to accommodate for Ben Simmons and made Joel Embiid one of the best low post threats into a 3-point shooter. You turn that man into Kevin Love. You turn the man with Akeem Olajuwon post moves into Kevin Love.
He's not lying.
And then the coup de grace is that without Ben Simmons, we know we was in trouble. But you still started Raul Neto anyway.
We're in the era where Raul Neto got more minutes than Matisse Thybulle some game.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
You held nobody accountable.
No,
you did not adjust. A 2-3 zone still confuses you to this day.
To this day.
Doris Burke coached the Sixers in the booth better than you could on the court.
Yeah, Doris Burke, just commentators in general.
The reality is this, Brett, you're a good guy. You've been with us through the darkest of times. But it was time for you to go. And with that, I'm going to be respectful. I'm going to say happy trails. And in the words of Jeff Fisher, when he said to Nick Foles, I hope you land on your feet. And that is my eulogy to the average coach known as Brett Brown.
Average.
Wow. I don't think I'll be able to top that, but
nah.
Y'all wanted me to go first. So.
That's why, and that's exactly why. I mean, my man felt it. For Brett Brown, my words, brother. Wish you the best. Like I said, those first couple years we give you a pass because it was an absolute disaster. But you know what, man? We're gonna miss you, brother. You know, things that you've done for our community, your autism walks, you know, just being there, just a great guy, wonderful guy. But you know, at the end of the day, you want to join the rest of the 40 million of us without unemployment, and you know, maybe for you they give you a nice little package, bring back the extra 600. But you gonna land on your feet, man, because
you're still getting paid.
Still getting paid, but not only that, I feel like the NBA really loves you, man. You gonna take over a team, they gonna give you exactly what you need, and next thing you know, you might mess around and be coach of the league. That rhymed.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to do that.
You got bars.
I think
Mark got bars.
This man's sitting right here.
Music inspired me to just talk about Brett Brown. But for real, on a serious note, thank you, Jesus. Like, my man is gone. Finally. Go ahead, Langston. That's all I got on that.
Brett Brown. Well, guys. Oh, yes. Brett Brown. Where should I begin? I felt bad for you at first, man. Oh, Lord, did I feel bad for you.
At one point, we was 1-31.
Oh, man, we were 131. You were 10-72 by the end of that season. I was like, he ain't got nothing. He ain't got nothing at all. And now lately, last 3 seasons, maximize the talent of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid?
Did not.
No. Get to the finals game?
Did not.
No. Ben Simmons shoot a 3 often? No.
Did not.
Did Embiid post up enough? No.
Debatable.
Did Raul Neto get too many minutes?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, Brett Brown, there were just some coaching decisions where everyone was like, why?
What you doing, buddy?
You played for the Spurs.
What's going on?
You coached Tim Duncan?
And Brett Brown, my biggest question was player development.
No.
And my one word is where? Where was it? Did Ben Simmons develop under you? Not really. Did Embiid develop under you? Not really. But when other Sixers left, did they develop? I think so. Jeremy Grant's looking good.
Real good.
Darius Sharp's looking good.
Fantastic.
Mikal Bridges looking good. Robert Covington's looking good.
Wow.
Trey Burke's looking good.
Wow.
Jakar Sampson's on the playoff team.
Sampson's looking good.
Yeah.
Why is everybody looking good away from you?
You know who he did develop, though? Y'all man, the Furkinator.
Didn't Ferg leave and come back better?
Nope. He still sucks.
100%.
He didn't make a single 3 all series, man. You gotta let this go.
My man dribbles on a 25. He got no moves.
No one really developed under this player development coach.
No one.
So, Brett Brown, I wish you the best. But for all Sixers fans, we are glad you are gone.
About damn time.
Thank you for all you've done.
We gotta grease the poles now because we about to start a riot in the city.
Now it's time for someone else. Who's next, guys? Who we got?
All right, yo. So this is who I've been thinking. A lot of people have been looking at me sideways, but I really like Kenny the Jet Smith. After I watched TNT so much, I love the way he breaks down the game. I would love to have him on our bench and lead our guys. Another reason why I would like him is because everyone compares Joel's game to Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yep.
If anyone knows how to put Joel in the best place, especially if his skill set is very similar to Hakeem Olajuwon, it's Kenny the Jet Smith. I would love to have him like that. And with him being a former champion, he can also help develop our point guard, which is Ben Simmons. Or, I mean, if they're still going to keep him at the 4, who knows? But he's still going to be the primary ball handler. I would really love to see Kenny Smith. I know that's not a name who's been thrown out, but that's one that has just come to mind. I know he was looking for the Knicks organization a couple years ago, or I don't know if it was last year, but just watching him on TNT, he really knows what the heck he's talking about. And I feel like outside of Elton Brand, Philadelphia, they need more basketball minds to get these guys in the right position.
That was my pick too.
No way.
I'm very serious.
Wow.
I'm so serious. Like, as soon as I saw, like, I was watching just TNT and seeing Kenny Smith, like, yo, like, I'm not passing the ball until you hit that spot.
Right.
And I'm just like, see, that's the level of accountability that we need on this team, especially with Josh Richardson saying that there was no accountability this year, but probably ever. Like, you can understand the first 3, maybe 4 seasons, there's no accountability because we don't have the players to do it. But the past 3 seasons, we definitely needed that level of accountability that we just did not have. Kennedy J. Smith is that type of person. Every time you talk to him, he's breaking down the plays like, oh, this should happen. This should happen. We need to be here. We need to shoot here. Like, you just hear Kennedy J. Smith talk. And not only the fact that he's a mentee under Masai Ujiri, who's one of the great NBA minds in this league. I think Kennedy J. Smith is a fantastic decision for coaching here. I do not think it's going to happen.
No, not even.
I do think it's going to end up being like a Ty Lue or Ime Udoka or Kenny Atkinson or something like that. But I would just make a phone call to Kenny J. Smith and was like, hey, are you interested?
Just have an interview with him.
Yeah.
Just interview. And if he's interested, I would definitely put him as a top candidate.
Considering.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, obviously the biggest decision maker when it comes to Moran already said that he's going to be. Yeah, Elton Moran said 1, it's going to be on me, and 2, he's already made public that he's going to be talking to Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons about what are the next steps in terms of what we're going to need to do next in order for us to go back to being a potential title contender. So maybe they're going to have some potential influence on the coaching decision. But all we've been hearing in terms of the coaching search is our assistant coach Meki Uda and Ty Lue. But honestly, like, everybody's a little 50-50 on Ty Lue. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, a lot of people feel this is the struggle when you coach LeBron. A lot of people don't give Ty Lue credit for him coaching LeBron and winning an NBA championship, but I look at it from a different lens. Like, not only did he coach LeBron and they won an NBA championship, but he also
came back 3-1.
Exactly, came back 3-1, but he also actually played a point guard in the NBA, where in most cases a lot of point guards do become coaches. Not only did he play a point guard in the NBA, he also played under Phil Jackson. Exactly. So that's a lot of knowledge just from playing point guard, playing with Phil Jackson, and coaching a team to an NBA championship alongside LeBron.
He worked with Kobe Bryant. He worked with Shaq.
And being an assistant coach to Doc Rivers.
Yes, I forgot about that.
He's been around some great minds.
That's a lot of basketball knowledge. That's a lot of X's and O's. And more importantly, everybody's worried about the accountability. I believe Brian Windhorst said a few years ago that, like, when they were, like, in the locker room, like, Ty Lue talked to LeBron like no other coach has ever talked to him before. He was like, yo, listen, this is all on you.
Right.
Like, if you want to win this series against the Cavs, this is all on you. And LeBron took it some type of way, and it worked.
Yeah.
He's like, this is how you want to go out. And LeBron, you know, him, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, and the rest, they took it to heart, and, you know, they responded.
As you should. I mean, I feel like a lot of these coaches, they kind of get scared when it comes to telling these grown men who make more than them what to do. But that is your job, is to lead these guys and put them in the right position. That is why you're there. So, yes, we definitely need someone who's going to help these guys take accountability. Now, I don't need anybody like a drill sergeant, you know, trying to. It's like going backwards. No, it's like
no, Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, it's like going backwards. So, like, no, we need someone who's truly going to utilize these guys and put them in the best position to ensure that the Philadelphia 76ers win games and make a strong playoff run. Because, to be honest, like, I hate to say it, but, like, I was waiting for us to get swept just so we could get Brett Brown out of here. But I don't want to see my team lose. I want to see my team fighting. I want to see my team actually attempting to win games, win NBA championships, continuing to grow, getting that playoff experience. I don't want to see them go out on the sweep. So, yeah, it's bittersweet.
And against the Celtics?
And against the Celtics.
That part hurt.
So it's definitely bittersweet at the end of the day, but I still want my team to be playing today. Like, I want to go home and watch the game. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just mad. I'm 50-50.
Yeah. Also, what are your thoughts about Elton Moran saying that he's going to be moving a little bit away from analytics?
It's common sense. You don't have analytic players at the end of the day. I could see if Ben Simmons is shooting 36% from 3, so the analytics say if you're on a fast break and you got a wide open layup, well, no, actually your 3-point percentage is great, and all they do is shoot threes and layups anyway. They tell you to launch a 3. That's stupid. Just bring back your regular basketball IQ, use the players that you have, and go ahead and win these games. Like, analytics is dumb.
I think you need a balance. There are some of the great teams that they do use analytics, like the Rockets use analytics. but they also have the talent to
58 threes, and they lost to OKC yesterday. They shot themselves.
They did.
Look at those analytics.
And that's the thing. So, like, analytics, like what the Rockets are doing overall is working. That's why I say you need a balance. Like, if you're going all in on analytics, I feel like that's a problem. If you're going all in on basketball IQ, I feel like that's a problem. But I feel like you have a balance between the two. Like, I do definitely think we need more basketball minds for the Sixers management.
Yeah.
And I do think we were lacking that. So more basketball minds would help with that. But I don't think you should abandon analytics completely. I do think they do belong somewhere here in the league.
Because we still got a bunch of holdovers from the Colangelo era.
True. And then one thing I was going to say, not necessarily abandon analytics, but use freaking common sense.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Of course, analytics are going to work in some cases, but common sense, I mean, come on.
Yes.
At the end of the day. Chris, who did you think, who did you have in mind for the next coach?
But I was all in for Lionel Hollins because if we're gonna do bully, if we're gonna do bully ball, then bring the perfect bully ball coach.
Yeah.
But
here's my thing with that. I just don't think bully ball is gonna work anymore. I just think it's dead in this NBA.
Bully ball works as long as you have the proper spacing.
I agree.
Yeah. So.
I've even heard people say Dave Yeager.
Yeah.
But
I don't think that's gonna happen because I don't think he has a good rapport with players in the locker room.
Yeah, I'm not sold on.
Yeah, his last two spots were Memphis after Lionel Hollins, and I believe he was with the Kings before they hired Lou Ballman.
Yeah. Another thing, so I stumbled across this podcast earlier. It was J.J. Wright talking about, potentially coaching in the NBA. And for all the people who wish J.J. Wright to be the Sixers' next head coach, Jay Wright, it's not happening at the end of the day. I feel like I can read between the lines what he was saying. And one of the main things that he was saying is that he truly loves that he has the ability to pick his team, as far as recruiting his players, etc., and also developing them into young men. He said he loves that journey. So him just inheriting a team that isn't his players, that's just not. It
doesn't feel right.
Exactly.
It doesn't feel authentic.
And then another thing he said, in most cases when it comes to college coaches getting their opportunity, it's usually like they're taking over a bad team and they want you to go ahead and make a splash and do something crazy with them, or it's like a super young team and they want you to develop them. If Jay Wright was to come to the NBA, I feel like it should be a team that actually fits him, his style, his system. And we know he's super guard heavy, and I don't think that would truly work.
A team like Atlanta would probably be better for him.
Yo, you're actually right. I agree. Even though they got Clint Capella, but he's not really like a post guy, but he's everywhere.
The Suns would work, but they already have their coach.
True.
But the thing is with Jay Wright is he's already in a better position. Like, Villanova is a top team in this whole country. There's no reason for him to leave to come to the Sixers, which is potentially going to backfire on him.
Not necessarily.
I don't think so, because he brought that program. Look to where Villanova was, and look to where they are now.
I agree.
And you can say that was all Jay Wright.
I mean, from the recruiting classes all the way down, he chose those.
And it's not like he had 5-star recruits. They're mostly like three, almost 3-star recruits.
And if there's anyone who's proven they know how to develop players, it is Jay Wright.
Definitely Jay Wright.
Because if you are from Villanova, you come in and you know how to play your role in the NBA. You may not be like a top tier, like top 5, top 10, well maybe top 10, but maybe not like all-star caliber, but you definitely fulfill a role.
You're going to produce. Look at the guys now. Of course, you got Kyle Lowry, you got Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart,
Eric Paschall.
How could I forget him?
Even before that, Randy Floyd played like several years in the league. Alan Wright.
Didn't Donnie DiVincenzo?
Yeah.
He was on the Bucks and he was playing well.
Those are all Villanova guys. A lot of them were in the bubble.
Yep.
I feel like they all were in the bubble. Jalen Brunson, he played for Dallas, but he was hurt, right?
Yeah, he was hurt. I don't think he was there, but he would have been there.
Technically, they were all in the bubble.
And again, he would have had his role too if it wasn't for his injury. So they all have their roles.
And Villanova puts more better NBA products than North Carolina has in the past few years.
I'd say that's fair. That's a very fair assessment, and they actually produce more than the North Carolina.
It was the last time like a legitimate North Carolina product came into the league and started Harrison Barnes.
You know which Wildcat team is better?
Oh, wow. Nah, that's a fight.
It's proven. Y'all went 1-on-1 a couple years ago.
Yeah. Nah, they the Tar Heels.
They're the Tar Heels.
Oh yeah, they're Tar Heels. Never
Tar
mind.
Heels.
Oh my God! Trying to turn the reality. Mission there.
Yeah, my bad.
You're thinking of Kentucky, man.
Man, my bad.
It's all good.
And I'll tell you this right now: no Nova player is better than anything.
Oh, my mom came in with Scotty Reynolds.
Ooh.
Forgot about Scotty Reynolds.
Was he in the NBA?
He did. He wasn't in the NBA long.
Right. Yeah.
He was there. He still produced when he did. Okay, Mom. Shout out to Mama listening.
All right. So, with the coaches, what is the other thing that you want the Sixers to do like during this offseason? If you had to make one priority
first.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Trade Al Horford.
That's not easy. That's not easy.
But so it's not easy, but it needs to be done.
Absolutely. That's got to be number one on the list.
That's the thing. I don't know what you have to do if you have to like trade away an asset for it, which is what I wouldn't want to do. And I also heard a report that they're actually thinking about keeping Al Horford because Elton Brand still thinks that this can work. I don't know how he thinks this can work.
He can't be a starter.
He can't be a starter.
If you're gonna pay a man practically $25-30 million a year to play 15-20 minutes and come off the bench.
That's a lot. He gets paid starter money. My thing is, like, all right, when we first signed Al Horford, part of the reason that we brought him in was to, number one, be a backup for Joel in case he didn't make it all the way through the season.
In case of Joel Embiid injury, break glass.
Right. Number two, don't forget about how fantastic Horford played in the playoffs against Giannis.
Yes.
Now those were the two main reasons that they brought Al Horford in.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it hasn't fizzled out, mainly because I say of coaching. But if we get a different leader in here, I don't think Al Horford's still a bad pick. I mean, because at the end of the day, he has outstanding basketball IQ. He pretty much does everything, and I still don't think it's bad. But realistically, no one's taking on that contract.
Yeah.
And then if it is someone's taking on that contract, we're going to have to take back a bad contract.
Like I talked to my dad earlier. He said potential. There's still preliminary talks about him going to Sacramento.
For what?
Like obviously you heard Buddy Hill. Like I'll even take Harrison Barnes. Honestly,
we would have to if we're getting rid of Al, we got to take back something bad, and that's Harrison Barnes and probably Buddy Hill. But then also, what else do we give up? We give up Josh Richardson just to get rid of that. Just to get rid of Al Horford? Like, is that worth it to y'all?
I like Josh Richardson. But the thing with Josh Richardson is that he only has 1 year left on his deal.
Right.
So that might be a trade chip because then you'll have to pay Josh Richardson.
True. But, then again, look at us. We took on we took on two guys who had 1 year deals, and we let one walk, and we paid one another $180 million.
Paid the wrong one. That's the other thing.
Chose Brett Brown over Jimmy Butler, basically.
Yeah. Also, my thing that this year, because Al Horford's like easy, that's a low hanging fruit. The one thing is, it's about the draft. Stop getting cute in the draft. Draft somebody who's going to contribute right away instead of getting projects. You got burned way too many times, especially over the process, picking project players instead of guys who can contribute now. You had something good in Landry Shamet, who was already going to come into the league. Yes. He knew his role. You already knew what you're going to get from him as a three-point shooter. You already knew what you're going to get from Mikal Bridges coming out of Villanova. You traded for him for a project player in Zaire Smith, who still hasn't seen the court in 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So my thing is this: if you want more shooting, get the best shooter available. Get like a guy who's been in the college system for 3 to 4 years with a solid coach, and just use him for that. Don't get cute with these projects. I understand you're enticed to get like these project players like a Michael Porter Jr. or like you're impressed with this 19-year-old kid's like defensive analytics, but listen, get some shooters.
Yeah, some people who can go out there and contribute right away. I feel like, for example, like I love Tobias Harris, but imagine if we still had Landry Shamet and we had Mikal Bridges over Zaire Smith. Those guys are producing and playing right now. If we still had Landry Shamet, don't get me wrong, I love J.J. Redick, but Landry Shamet was being groomed to be our next J.J.
He was our replacement.
And he was looking damn good before he left. 6'6", big guy. He can come off the screen, shoot with no problem. And Mikal Bridges is already
all those dribble handoffs you love doing. That was his game.
Exactly. And Mikal Bridges is already a 3-and-D guy who's ready to go.
And not to mention, you get Tobias Harris anyway in the offseason for about $100 less.
Exactly, because he was walking from the Clippers.
Well, Jerry West wasn't going to pay him.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't. That's why he was balling for his life.
They just did it. Elton Brand wanted that 5th-year option for Tobias Harris.
And
but I'm completely
that.
with you all that. I just think you shouldn't have signed him to that much money nor that long. Now you're cap struck.
Yeah, but I mean, he's 26.
And that's my thing. Like the Tobias Harris contract, it may not be too bad because he can still grow and develop.
But he's our highest paid player now.
Yeah.
Yes. Just by longevity in the league, he is the highest paid player. But he can still he still averaged 20 points a game. Right. He was okay efficiency wise. He just had a terrible playoff series.
Here's my thing though. At this point, I don't care what Tobias Harris does in the regular season anymore.
Yes, it's postseason.
Yeah, it's postseason or bust. We're sitting at a level of which I don't care really what you do. Well, Tobias Harris is averaging 28 on 45%. I don't care about that anymore.
Yeah.
Like I don't care about James Harden's regular season MVPs anymore. Yeah. It's about what you do in the postseason.
I feel like the mindset has to change. Like, for example, we all know Kawhi Leonard don't give a dog. Like, he don't care about the season at all. Now
does LeBron.
Neither does LeBron. Yeah. Like, at some point, the standards have to be better.
Exactly. Like, I understand you want to jock for seeding and this, that, and the third, but no, we got to put more emphasis on the postseason. We're not an up and coming team. Like, we have 2 generational talents. It's time to work. Now, one thing I did want to mention as well, that I feel like Philadelphia needs to take the chance and bring in more players who actually embody Philadelphia. When I say that, guys who like this city would adore. For example, like a guy like Marcus Smart, he would be a fan favorite, like a real fan.
We can't get him.
No. I'm just saying, like a guy who would fit Philadelphia.
We're the Morris twins. They're from Philly.
Exactly. Like that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the mindset, not like acquiring them. Exactly. We need people who are going to truly embody the city of Philadelphia.
It just wasn't going to happen with Brett Brown.
Yeah, instead of these soft dudes who don't like to be touched.
Choir boys.
Yeah, like no, that's not how we get down. Yeah, that's not how we get down. We need that grit and grind.
All right, we got 8 minutes left. I think we spent enough time on the Sixers.
Fair.
So we talked about postseason performance, but we got to talk about the man who has been lighting it up in the postseason. Well, a lot of people are, We got Donovan Mitchell, we got Luka Doncic, and obviously we see the resurgence of LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
He was just laying dormant all season.
Yeah. And listen, I'll just start this off real quick. Blazers are down 3-1. I picked Portland to win 7.
So did I.
I'm dying on this hill currently. Technically, they haven't lost the series yet, but Damian Lillard is out for Game 5 tomorrow.
Yeah.
But the reality is this: I did not expect Portland to keep shooting this poorly. But it goes to show you that the Lakers' defense on Portland, especially with Damian Lillard, with Contavious Caldwell-Pope playing off-ball defense on Damian Lillard, that has been a major factor. Because your team is as only good as your best player. Damian Lillard can't get it going, and obviously you've seen it. The wheels begin to fall off. CJ McCollum and Garrett Trent can't carry that weight.
I tried to tell y'all.
Well, CJ has a bad back, so I'm not going to let him slide.
I tried to tell y'all.
But I knew that going into it, and I still picked him. So.
It is what it is.
Yeah. But, and then LeBron, putting up 30?
But this is what you witness. Where like, okay, I care less about the regular season. I'm going to focus and put all my energy into the postseason. And you see the Lakers just flip that switch, and now they're just terrorizing the Blazers.
Another thing, you know what? They're terrorizing the Blazers on defense because I forgot how long they were. Like, I mean, they are super.
Yeah, there was at one point where LeBron was at 2.
Right. It's crazy.
Which he has the flexibility to do.
And they're not playing with this high pick and roll that Portland is trying to do.
No, they're picking them up.
They're on it. They're not playing any games. And then you forget that you can counter Nurkic. We got a call. You can counter Nurkic with, what's his name?
What's going on? You're listening to WJYN Uptown Radio.
Riley Brown, what up, bro?
Go ahead.
That's true. Brad Stevens and Billy Donovan.
Yeah. To be honest, like, don't get me wrong, I would love to have Jay Wright as our coach. I just feel like he's super comfortable. Like, he's happy where he is at Villanova. He's probably got a nice crib back there getting crazy racks. And I think he's good where he's at. I mean, but you never know. I mean, maybe one day he wakes up and say, you know what, I do want to take on this task. I do want to see if my knowledge can translate over to the NBA. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still basketball. But, I mean, like I said, I would love to have him. I think he's just comfortable.
Yeah, most definitely. None of us here are saying that Jay Wright would be a bad pick. I think we all think Jay Wright would be a great pick, and if Jay Wright was chosen as the head coach of the Sixers, we would be elated for it.
Yeah.
We just don't think it's going to happen just because he has the best job, arguably, in Philadelphia right now, and one of the best jobs in college basketball. So we just think that part is too good to be true. And again, Jay Wright may just want that control that he has now on the NBA team, and he's not going to get that, especially not from the jump.
Rick Pitino. Yeah.
Yep.
Those two are essentially in the same boat, in my opinion. Coach K and Jay Wright. They don't even call Coach K no more. They know he's not leaving Duke.
Some college jobs are better than
Coach
NBA
Roy, too,
jobs.
honestly.
Yeah. Roy Williams in North Carolina. Like, them dudes,
Who's the Kansas
are
coach?
chilling.
Who was he? I forget the Kansas coach, but he's in a similar system. There are some college coach jobs that's better than some NBA jobs at this point.
Right.
We just think Jay Wright's in one of those positions.
Right.
Hence why we don't think this is going to happen.
Ralph, thanks for calling in. We got to close up.
Appreciate the call.
Yeah.
All right, man.
My mom chimed in one more time, said Villanova is a basketball dynasty.
For the past 4 or 5 years, absolutely.
Yeah.
She ain't
lying.
Yeah, no, she ain't
Absolutely.
lying. Okay, mom, shoot. And she found out Scotty Reynolds is overseas.
Yeah, that's why I questioned the whole Scotty Reynolds thing. I was like, he might have played for a little bit, but
Yeah, we got your mom on the show one day.
She don't be talking sports like that, but she knows what she's talking
you
about.
can always call in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But listen, now to close out the show, listen, Donovan Mitchell has been
Tearing it up,
man.
man.
And listen,
Who y'all got tonight? Little predictions. Jazz, Nuggets.
Jazz.
I got the Jazz closing it now. I think the Nuggets got their hearts.
Nah, give me the Nuggets just because I want the series to go longer. I'm being selfish.
Yeah, I picked Mike Conley on the FanDuel Sportsbook. If he drops over 25 points,
Okay.
it's plus 1,700.
Okay.
Oh, man. Because my boy Mike Conley came in.
Help me out, bro. Help me out.
All right, and Clippers, Mavericks.
Oh.
Clippers tonight. I can't see Doc Rivers going down.
Yeah, because Chris Stapps is out again, man.
I'm going to go Clippers. Paul George will maybe have 15. We got to talk about him next show. Cause
Oh my God.
We gotta go.
I'm done with Paul George. Listen, I said it myself. I'm like, God, I'm sorry I ever defended.
It's like now they see what I've been saying.
All
Where
right,
I've been coming
we got to
from.
close out, guys. Once again, you're listening to Uptown Radio, WJY 98.5. Listening to the Running Back Radio Show. I'm Chris Thomas, Mark Thompson. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Peace.